Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 17th May 2021. In this lecture, we are going to see 5 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says the second COVID-19 wave shows signs of peaking. So in this context, you need to focus on what is the second COVID-19 wave. So first, let us try to understand what is meaning of this second COVID-19 wave peak. So for example, in India, there is no cases of this coronavirus. But what happened slowly, there is increasing of cases that is seen like this. And suddenly we see that there will be like most of the cases are recorded, and later we can see there will be decreasing number of cases, right? So after some time again there will be increasing number of cases that is seen. So now we are seeing about 3 to 4 lakh cases every day, right? So again there will be decreasing number of cases. So here whenever we are seeing increasing number of cases, so whenever we are seeing highest number of case and later on again we are seeing decrease in number of case, so this is called as first wave. And whenever we are saying there is increasing again cases and we are achieving or we are getting peak cases, that is highest number of cases, and again we are seeing decline in cases, so this is second wave. Okay, so this is about meaning of what is this first wave and what is this second wave. So now let us try to see this article in a very great detail. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under health. So first let us see context. So if you see context, it mainly says that the number of new COVID-19 cases in India has shown a consistent dip in past week. That means from last 1 week onwards, we are seeing there is decrease in number of new fresh coronavirus cases that was reported within 24 hours. So actually 1 week before we observed 4 lakh cases, that is if you are talking about average. So here 3.92 lakh cases on May 18 that we saw. On May 15, by May 15 that led to a decrease in number of cases here, that is to 3.41. So we can say highest peak of cases in the second wave is 3.92 lakh cases, and there is decrease in number of cases. And also we saw there is drop in positivity rate. That means whenever we are doing 100 tests, okay, out of this 100 tests only 22.6 were positive tests, and now it also decreased to 19%. Okay, so we are seeing there is decrease in number of new infections that are recorded every day, and as well as there is decrease in positivity rate also. In India, second wave, okay, second wave, it is on wane. So this is the statement which is given. So here why we are saying this second wave it is in wane, because there is decrease in total positivity rate. Now it is 19%, and average daily cases also decreased, and even average daily test over time also decreased. So because of all these things, now we can say in India's second wave it is on wane. So now let us see some important details. So here COVID-19 picture is not uniform across all states. In some states they are recording higher number of cases. In some states we can see there is decrease in number of cases, and in some states there is high rate of positivity, and in some states we can see there is low rate of positivity. So because of this COVID-19 picture, it is not uniform across our country, that is across all the states. So some states they even went for reducing testing levels recently. So whenever we are going for reducing of this testing levels and we are reporting there are less number of cases that are coming from so and so state, then it will be like misleading information, right? So it is missing out on identifying a number of infected people, even as COVID-19 draft would show an artificial peaking. Okay, so sometimes what happen whenever we are decreasing test. So let us take one hypothetical situation. So we are going for testing 100, okay, 100 people. So out of this 100 people, it's for example 50 people got positive in one case. In second case, let us see only 15 people they got positive here. So based on this we can say here positivity rate it is 50%, here it is 15%. So whenever we are decreasing this limit, okay, for example instead of doing 100 we are doing 50 only. So out of this 50, we are getting 15 positive. That means we can say 30% of the positivity rate. And out of this 50, we are getting 25% positive. That means 50% of positivity rate is present. So because of this, whenever we are reducing this testing levels, that will lead to misleading of information. Sometimes total positive rate may be increased, and sometimes this total positivity rate may be decreased here. Okay, so this is one important thing that you should note. And next one is some states, they are saying that positivity rate are on decline. Okay, so these are some important things that you should remember regarding this topic. And now let us see next article. Title says United Nations Security Council calls for end to violence in Gaza. Okay, so if you see here, this is Israel. Here we can see this Gaza here, and here we can see West Bank, Jerusalem here. Okay, so these are mainly areas which are mainly concentrated by Palestinians. So what happened recently, we also studied about Iron Dome missile system, which mainly used by Israel people, right? So here what happened, because of increasing violence in Israel and Palestine, that led to loss of many lives. So because of this, United Nations Security Council calling for end to violence in this Gaza. So this article will be important regarding international relations, which comes under GS paper 2. So what is the conflict behind this Israel and this Palestinians, we already discussed in our earlier lectures. And as well as we studied about what is this Iron Dome missile system also in a very great detail. So now let us try to see this article in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that Israeli strikes killed at least 42 Palestinians in Gaza Strip. So because of this Israel's Iron Dome missile system, that led to killing of about 42 Palestinians in Gaza Strip within 24 hours. So because of this, it is one of worst daily death toll in almost a week-long clashes. So from last week onwards here in Israel and Gaza, what happened, there is a violence that is erupting. And here today, that is on Sunday, 42 Palestinians, they were died because of this attacks done by Israel in Gaza Strip. So because of this, it is one of worst daily death toll, okay, in this area. So because of this, United Nations Security Council that pleaded for an immediate end to deadly violence in this Gaza Strip. So here UNSC also said that because of this deadly violence, that plunged the region into an uncomfortable security and humanitarian crisis. So this is some important thing that you should remember regarding this. And now let us see some facts here regarding this United Nations Security Council. So we already discussed about this United Nations Security Council number of times, because recently India elected for temporary, that is non-permanent member for 2 years of tenure in this United Nations Security Council. So now let us have a revision once again regarding this United Nations Security Council. So this United Nations Security Council established by United Nations Charter in 1945, and this UNSC is one of 6 principal organs of United Nations. So what is primary responsibility of this United Nations Security Council? So primary responsibility is to work to maintain international peace and as well as security in region. And there are 15 members. Out of this 15, we can divide into 10 members plus 5 members. Here 5 members includes P5 members, that is permanent 5 members. And here 10 members are non-permanent members. They are elected based on 2 years of tenure. So if you are talking about P5 members, they include US, UK, France, China and Russia. So here these non-permanent members are 10 in number. They are elected for tenure of 2 years. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this topic. And now let us see next article. Title says Artless and Heartless. So this article mainly talking about Central Vista Redevelopment Project. So first of all, what is the Central Vista Redevelopment Projects? So this project mainly includes the construction of new parliament building and as well as residences of Prime Minister and as well as Vice President. So why this is the news? Already we discussed about background regarding this, what is the Central Vista project number of times. So here this article mainly says that here government, which is mainly present in a critical situation now, that is COVID-19 pandemic. So because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we are facing health burden, economy burden. So in this time of abnormal situation because of this COVID-19, so we can't go with this Central Vista project and we need to suspend this project. So this is some background regarding this topic. And this topic will be very important regarding GS paper 3 under governance. So this topic will be especially important regarding mains, and from prelims you need to know facts regarding what is the Central Vista redevelopment project, and it is homework for you people. And please let me know some facts regarding this, what is the Central Vista redevelopment project. So whatever you know about this project, try to type in comment box. Don't forget about this. So whenever I am giving any homework, it is for your benefit itself, not for my benefit. Okay, so please try to do that. At least spare 10 minutes. I will be giving not more than 2 or 3 works in a day, right? So please spare at least 10 minutes and do some research and try to make a notes of that. Then that will be also important for your prelims and as well as even mains. Okay, and now let us see this article in a very great detail. If you see context, it mainly says that Government of India came up with Central Vista redevelopment project. So now this project is highly questionable as a national priority now. So if you're talking about this Central Vista project, it includes construction of new parliament building and also construction of new residences for Prime Minister and also Vice President of India. So this article mainly says that architecture and as well as it is a timeless redevelopment now, because we are in a presently facing with a health crisis and as well as economic crisis which caused by this global pandemic COVID-19. So even here regarding this Central Vista project, central government want to complete this project before next Lok Sabha elections in 2024. So because of this, we can say whenever we are saying this target of central government, it is mainly looking like a showmanship that will be followed under governance of this country. And there is no justifiable urgency regarding this project. Okay, so because of this, 76 scholars, artisans, writers and curators and as well as museum professionals, they put a spotlight for this particularly concerning about aspects of this project. So because of this, now we are facing economic crisis and also health crisis. There is no need of going with this urgency regarding this completion of this building by 2024. And not only this, there are a number of projects like National Museum of India, Indira Gandhi National Institute for Arts and as well as some National Archive Annexure. So they are set to be demolished and they are going to have their new building soon. So because of this context, now experts they called for an immediate suspension of this project, of this new Central Vista project. So here there is a valid concern about this conservation and as well as collection houses at these centers. For example, when you are going for demolition of this National Museum of India and as well as Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts and also even National Archives Annexure. So there is one valid concern like where we have to relocate whatever the things which are present in that. For example, if you're talking about museum, it is having a worthy things, okay, which is of mainly ancient India's, medieval India's and as well as modern India's time things are mainly safely kept in these museums. But whenever we want to demolish the structure and to come up with new buildings, so where we need to protect all these things which are present in these galleries, arts, etc. Right? So one important challenge we are facing here is relocation. So relocation will be one of challenging tasks even during ordinary times, not only even during this pandemic time here. So whenever we want to go for a proper relocation here, so we need requiring detailed planning and as well as detailed expertise regarding this. So if you're talking about especially National Museum here, so this is still lacking some complete inventory here. So because of this, we are having some risk of losing or mishandling of items which are present in this museum. And if you're talking about Central Vista redevelopment project, it is being implemented in a very hurry to complete this project within 2024, right? So if you see, author mainly says that, so now country which is facing unprecedented health crisis. So because of this health crisis, we can see effects are mainly seen on different sections. Like we can see effect on economy, effect on social and as well as political spheres in India. So in this way, government will losing nothing when you are going to suspend this type of projects in this national emergency time. So here in this context, we need to take ideas from opposition as well as public into confidence. We need to take into consideration regarding confidence of opposition as well as public in our future codes. So this is a gist of this topic. I hope it is clear. Now let us say next article. Title says restructuring tribunal system. So if you are talking about tribunals, in our constitution there is one article which talks about these tribunals, that is article 323 of Indian constitution, and we have 323A and 23B, which mainly talks about tribunals for administrative purposes, and next one is tribunals for other services, right? So here what is this tribunals? Tribunals are not judicial bodies, but they are quasi-judicial bodies. Okay, tribunals are not present in our original constitution, but through Constitution Amendment Act, these tribunals are added to our Indian constitution. So if you want to do some detailed study regarding these tribunals, please open your Lakshmikant. In Lakshmikant, there is a separate chapter of tribunals. You can watch that. You can go for referring that book. And even I uploaded one video regarding these tribunals in our Lakshmikant videos. Okay, in Lakshmikant playlist, we already covered these tribunals. So please go back and watch that video if you don't have knowledge about this tribunal system. So here this article mainly says that it is now time to set up this National Tribunal Commission. So now we are going to see why we need this National Tribunal system, what is need and what are important functions will be done by this National Tribunals Commission. So this article will be very much important regarding polity, especially regarding mains point of view. And this topic will be important regarding GS paper 2 under polity. So now let us try to see this article in a very great detail. So this article overall talking about this National Tribunals Commission. So why we need to go for setting up of this National Tribunals Commission? So if you see context or why it is in news, because Center has abolished several appellate tribunals and as well as authorities, and Center transferred power from this appellate tribunals and as well as authorities which are abolished to some existing judicial bodies. So because of this is in news. So this is done mainly through one ordinance by central government. So name of that ordinance is Tribunals Reform, Rationalization and Conditions of Service Ordinance 2021. Through this ordinance, here central government abolished appellate tribunals and as well as authorities, and it transferred powers of those tribunals and those authorities to other judicial bodies. Okay, so because of this ordinance, that is Tribunals Reforms, Rationalization and Conditions of Service Ordinance 2021, which mainly challenged in Supreme Court. So if you are talking about criticism of this ordinance, first one is it is saying it is bypassing usual legislative process. So how it is bypassing usual legislative process here? So if you are talking about organs of our states, we have three important organs. First one is legislature, second one is executive, and third one is judiciary, right? So what is important work of this legislature? To make laws, but executive to implement laws, for judiciary to interpret laws. Okay, so work of making laws, it is rested with legislature. Okay, and whatever laws which are made by this legislature, they need to implemented by executive on ground level. And if you are talking about judiciary, they need to interpret these laws which are made by this legislature, they are according to our Indian constitution or not. If they are according to our Indian constitution, yes, it's okay, it's well and good. So what happens if those laws which are against or which are not according to our Indian constitution, then these laws which are made by legislature, that are made null and void or unconstitutional by this judiciary. So why this ordinance which is bypassing usual legislature process? So if you are talking about ordinance, according to Article 213 and 123 of Indian Constitution, so according to Article 123 it is giving power to President, and according to Article 213 it is giving power to Governor to make laws when houses are not in session. Okay, so if you are talking about power of President under Article 123, whenever this Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha they are not in session, here President can make laws. Okay, that is through ordinance. And next one is Governor. Governor also have power to make laws or to make ordinance when this state legislature, that is State Legislative Assembly and State Legislative Council, in case of bicameral legislature, In case of unicameral legislature in state, that is state legislative assembly, it is not in session. Okay. So because of this, whenever president and governor, they are coming up with ordinances and issuing any law here, so this is mainly bypassing this usual legislative process, that is debate, discussion, everything, debate, discussion, voting in houses. Okay, so because of this, we can say this ordinance which is mainly bypassing the usual legislative process in houses. And not only this, even with this ordinance, they went for abolishment of several tribunals. For example, Film Certification Appellate Tribunal without any stakeholder consultation. So because of this, these are some important criticism here. So even despite of Supreme Court direction, mainly in this Roger Mathai versus South India Bank 2019. So in this case, Supreme Court said that there is no judicial impact assessment was conducted prior to abolishing tribunals through ordinance here. So even the Supreme Court already said that there is a need of judicial impact assessment before abolishing this ordinances, or we can say this tribunals through ordinances. So here, even though now by bypassing here legislative processes through this ordinance here, central government came up with abolishment of Film Certification Appellate Tribunal. So this is one important cause of concern. Okay. So if you see here, center, it is yet to constitute now this National Tribunals Commission. So here there are many recommendations or many proposals came for establishment of this National Tribunals Commission here. So this National Tribunals Commission is one of independent umbrella body which have mainly important functions like to supervising the function of tribunals, whether those tribunals are functioning smoothly or not. And next one is it will also deals with appointment of disciplinary proceedings, and also it will take care of administrative and infrastructure needs of tribunals. So these are some important independent umbrella body that is very much required to look after or to supervise over the functioning of tribunals, and as well as appointment and disciplinary proceedings, and also to take care of administrative and infrastructure needs of these tribunals. So if you are talking about this NTC, what is need? So we need one authority made to support uniform administration across all tribunals, and here this NTC could therefore pave a way for separation of administrative and as well as judicial functions of these tribunals. So now let us see what are the functions that can be done. So first one is it will have some functions regarding administrative and as well as oversight mechanism over these tribunals. So first one is it could set some performance standards for efficiently working of these tribunals. And second one is it could function as an independent recruitment body to develop and to operationalize procedure of disciplinary proceedings and even for appointment of tribunal members. And if you're talking about administrative roles, it will helpful for providing support services to tribunal members, litigants, and as well as lawyers. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this topic. I hope it is clear. And now let us say next article. So before saying next article, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came with one excellent, highly beneficial and also highly economical course, that is current affairs package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear this UPSC 2022? So one thing you need to remember here, before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 year current affairs for sure. And this is right time to join this current affairs package to cover this 1.5 years current affairs in a comprehensive manner. And why we need to focus on this current affairs? So if you see either prelims or mains or even interview, about 50 to 60% of questions mainly from this current affairs itself. So mastering of current affairs, it is very important to clear UPSC. And next one is mains answer writing practice. Many students who are especially beginners or freshers, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. So because of this, even though if they clear prelims, they cannot clear mains without proper answer writing skills. And in this course, we are exactly focusing on how to improve your answer writing skills. And if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday. We also provide you video explanation part. In this way, this course which is designed as per demands of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. And next one is for further details link which is given in description box, so please visit that once. And next one is, if you want to talk to me directly regarding this course, you can talk to me on this number 8074765513. Now let's come back and let us see next article. Title says it is getting from bad to worse for women workers. So this article mainly talking about especially women's workers. So why this is in news? Because of this coronavirus global pandemic, it affected almost all sectors. We can talk about industries, manufacturing, service sectors, construction, real estate, every sector, even health and our economy of our country also affected badly. So this article mainly says that how was these women workers are affected because of this lockdown and as well as this COVID-19. So there is much data which is given in this article. So you can save that data, okay, and you can revise it repeatedly, and you can produce this data whenever you are writing answer regarding effect of coronavirus or global pandemic on women workers. Okay, so this article will be very much important regarding society, which comes under GS paper 2, and this topic will be important regarding mains point of view. Okay, now let's come back and let us say this article. Title says about it is getting from bad to worse for women workers. So this this article talking about this women workers, and it is one of important and favorite topic of UPSC also. So if you say context here, because of this global pandemic COVID-19, which destroyed millions of lives and livelihood across the world, and because of this there is sudden increase in poverty and as well as massive disruption of labor market in India. So women workers in particular, they have borne a disproportionate burden. So if you're talking about this, there is a widening of gap between men and women that is evident here. So prior to 2020, that is entry of this coronavirus into our lives, so gender employment gaps were present in our society. So if you're talking about this gender employment gaps, only 18% of working age women, they are employed. When we are compared to men, they are getting about 75% of employment, but women are getting only 18%. And what might be reasons? Reasons here is because of lack of good jobs. And if any women who want to go outside and work outside, so there will be some restrictions from family also, and they might be thinking about safety. Some places they do not have much safety, even though there are she teams which are present, and as well as even though there is many acts like Women's Safety at Working Place Act, so and so. So there is not much safety that is seen here and there practically. Okay, I'm not saying on paper, but it is practically. So women are facing many issues regarding safety. So because of this, many women, they are not coming outside their house to work outside. Okay, so there is lack of good jobs for women. So women, they cannot do night duties here because they are having they might be housewives, some people, right? And they are having children and they need to look after their elderly parents, right? So because of this, there is lack of good jobs here. Women, they are not coming outside to do jobs. And as well as there is related to social norms, that there are some conservative families, they are present even. They say that women work, it is to sit inside house and they need to look after family. So this is not the duty of women to go outside and earn. Okay, so because of this, we can also see some social norms that are present across our country, and there is also increased burden of household work on women. So because of all these reasons, we can see only 19% of women, they are coming outside and they are doing jobs. And next one is, if you're talking about data, what I said now. So State of Working India 2021 report, it mainly says that pandemic worsened situation of women a lot. And next one is Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. It mainly says that 61% of male workers, they were unaffected during this lockdown. But in the same way, there are many women, they are affected because of this lockdown. By end of this year, 47% of employed women, they lost jobs because of lockdown, and many of them, they did not return to work also. And only 19% of women experienced this kind of insecurity that was faced, that are getting by this men. And even 33% of formal salaried men, they moved to self-employment, and 9% went to daily wage work between 2019 to 2020. But in the same way, when we are thinking about women, only 4 and 3% of formal salaried women, they went for self-employment and daily wage work when you are comparing to men. So women are forming a very less percentage. So in this way, finally we can say that women workers, they had poor employment options when we are comparing with that of this men here. So if you're talking about women and industry, so women, they tended to lost work disproportionately irrespective of industry. Okay, and share of women in job loss in education is a very much high, and it is 3 times more compared to that of men. And if you see, most of women, they used to go to schools mainly to teach so and so, okay, for at least primary and higher school people, right? So whenever, because of this COVID-19 lockdown we imposed, right, so that led to closure of schools here. So because of this closure of schools, women used to live in house itself. So because of this, household responsibilities have been increased for women. And if you see another survey, that is the India Working Survey 2020, it mainly found out that among employment men, so number of houses they spent on paid work remained more or less unchanged after pandemic. So after pandemic also, how much amount of men who are mainly investing in this household work, that is unchanged. But if you're talking about women on the same side, the number of hours of spending in household work, that increased many fold. Okay, so in this way we can say that women are mostly impacted because of this COVID-19 pandemic. And now let us see what is way forward. First one is we can go for expansion of this MGNREGA such that women can get some work in daily wage work in their villages, especially in these rural areas. And next one is we can go for introduction of urban employment guarantee scheme. Okay, in rural areas we are having this MGNREGA. In same way, in urban areas also, government need to come up with expansion of this employment guarantee scheme. And we can go for purpose of coordinated efforts by states that can help to facilitate women to get employment in states. And we need to address immediate needs of people like hunger, malnutrition, etc. by setting up of some community kitchens and as well as opening of Anganwadis, etc. And we need to go for prioritizing opening of schools at primary level and as well as Anganwadi centers. And next one is we can go for engagement with self-help groups, and we can go for production of this personal protective equipment also. Okay, in this way here self-help groups, they can provide some small employment for people. And next one is we can go for expansion of our investments, that is public investment in fields like education, health, child and elderly care. And next one is we need to go for COVID-19 allowances that should be provided by government, at least 5,000 rupees per month for 6 months, such that they can go for setting up of some self-employment opportunities. Okay, so this is just of this topic. I hope it is clear. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package. Thank you so much.